So slow. I just got that it's over the rainbow.
That's a good piano player. Standing up somewhere over the rainbow. But I recognized it. Massive opportunity, and are using public capital to open that space. And there's a lot more. We're suborbital constellations, going to the moon, building facilities there, going to Mars, going to the asteroids that are worth trillions of dollars in fuel.
Good morning and welcome to People's Church. No matter who you are, where you come from, what you believe or don't believe, who you love or how you look, you are welcome here. We're so glad you are present for today's Sunday morning worship, whether you're with us in the sanctuary, attending remotely via Zoom, or joining us via the Iowa UU Witness Advocacy Network's Queer Your Faith link on Facebook Live. Welcome. I'm Kate Scheller, one of the worship associates of People's Church. Paulette Montag is assisting with today's service. Judy Michelin is on the piano. David Wise is running our technology. And we are especially pleased to be joined today by a contingent from the choir, Eastern Iowa's LGBT Chorus. The choir's most recent performance pre-pandemic was right here at People's Church. And today's service will be the choir's first public performance since February of 2020. So welcome back, choir. One announcement before we begin. We need some willing hands to help clean up and touch up our building and grounds to make ready for our anticipated reopening. Lists of chores to be finished and checked off will be posted at the office and North Portico Church entrances, and we want to complete the work if possible before August 7th. Please see the e-weekly for details. And now, let our worship begin.
Oh, freedom! Oh, freedom! Oh, can join hands and be free. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom. Oh, freedom over me. And I'm longing for that day when all hatred's gone away, and we all can join hands and be free. And be free.
Our opening words are from Tim Haley. Amid all the noise in our lives, we take this moment to sit in silence, to give thanks for another day, to give thanks for all those in our lives who have brought us warmth and love, to give thanks for the gift of life. We know we are on our pilgrimage here, but a brief moment in time. Let us open ourselves here, now, to the process of becoming more whole, of living more fully, of giving and forgiving more freely, of understanding more completely the meaning of our lives here on this earth. And now please join me in our opening hymn, number 346, Come Sing a Song with Me.
Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me. Come sing a song with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me. Come dream a dream with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me. Come walk in rain with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me. Come share a rose with me, that I might know your mind. And I'll bring you home when hope is hard to find. And I'll bring a song of love and a rose in the winter time.
As Paulette likes the chalice, please join me in speaking the words on the screen for those of you who have a screen, and for those of you in person, imagine the words. We light this chalice in honor of first steps, for beginning even when the path ahead is unclear, for the courage it takes to trust that the way will reveal itself, that light will come to clarify our vision, that friends will be by our side. May the words, song, stillness, and common breath of this hour remind us that every step of the way is never one we take alone. And now please join me in speaking our affirmation. Love is the spirit of this church, and service is its law. This is our great covenant, to dwell together in peace, to seek the truth in love, and to help one another.
Reading Holy, Holy is This Place by Maureen Killoran. Blessed is the ground on which we stand. Holy is this place. Holy are the places of memory, the places which have formed us, where we store the icons of success and shattered dreams, and gather threads and pieces of what we would become. Holy are the places of memory. Holy are the places of the dream, the places over the rainbow, where all children are wanted and all people are fed, where colors are the source of celebration, and youth and age come to the table as one. Holy are the places of the dream. Holy are the places of change and pain, the places of our struggle, where the rivers of our lives run white and fast, and we hold on and grow. Holy are the places of change and pain. Holy are the places of connection, the places where we risk ourselves, where hands, touch souls, touch minds. And in awareness still, we change our lives. Holy are the places of connection. Holy are the places of becoming, the places of clear vision, where life and world are intertwined, and we can see forever in this moment and give thanks. Holy are the places of becoming. Blessed is the ground on which we stand, holy and whole making in this place.
And now please join me in singing hymn number 128, For All That Is Our Life.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad. For needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for faithful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift which we are called to use to build the common good and make our own days glad.
Now I Become Myself by May Sarton. Now I become myself. It's taken time, many years and places, I've been dissolved and shaken, worn other people's faces, run madly as if time were there, terribly old, crying a warning. Hurry, you'll be dead before. What? Before you reach the morning? Or the end of the poem is clear? Or love safe in the walled city? Now to stand still, to be here, feel my own weight and density. The black shadow on the paper is my hand, the shadow of a word as thought shapes the shaper, falls heavy on the page, is heard. All fuses now, falls into place, from wish to action, word to silence, my work, my love, my time, my face, gathered into one intense gesture of growing like a plant, as slowly as the ripening fruit, fertile, detached, and always spent, falls but does not exhaust the root. So all the poem is, can give, grows in me to become the song, made so and rooted by love. Now there is time, and time is young. Oh, in this single hour I live, all of myself, and do not move. I, the pursued, who madly ran, stand still, and stop the sun.
I'd like to begin today's sermon with the words of Admiral James Stockdale. The distinguished admiral was a Vietnam War veteran, Medal of Honor recipient, former POW, and past president of the Naval War College. And in 1992, he was also a candidate for Vice President of the United States. These memorable words were the first ones Admiral Stockdale spoke at the vice presidential debate that year. Who am I and why am I here? And this, sadly, is what he is remembered for, at least by me, looking and sounding like a confused old man on national television. I had to Google him to find out who he was aside from that particular moment. I feel a certain kinship with Admiral Stockdale. I too am often mistaken for a confused old man. For example, there was the woman who accosted me in the restroom at work and angrily asked if I knew this was the women's room. I did. And just recently, there was the guy in a passing car who saw the rainbow flag flying from the back of my recumbent trike and yelled, "Faggot," in my general direction. I wanted to say, but I like girls. In both of these situations, clearly someone was confused. But I digress. The question, Admiral Stockdale's question, when I pose it to myself, resonates. Who am I? What is my identity? And why am I here? What is my role? I'm here today specifically to give a talk on being queer. It's a subject I'm well versed in, though to be truthful, the term still makes me a little bit squeamish. Queer is a word that we, the LGBTQ+ community, have taken back for ourselves. We are proud, in the sense that pride is the opposite of shame. You can call me queer, but you can't shame me, goes the logic. Anyway, that's the official line as I understand it. Maybe it's because I'm old or thin-skinned, but that word queer, when used by those particularly outside my community, still makes me wince a little. It still means all the things it meant when I was a child, before there was a sexual or political context to it. Queer means odd. Queer means strange, weird, different, uncool, outcast, other. The power of the word comes from those connotations, and from flaunting them. And I should know, because I have always been queer. Long before I had any notion of what attraction meant, I understood I was different. But it wasn't just me. My whole family was queer in that sense. We moved around a lot, and we were always the new kids at school. Collectively and individually, we took a lot of grief from our schoolmates because we never understood the local culture. If we came home crying about it, we were told to be proud of who we were, to embrace our difference. Queer pride was the law in my home of origin. Thus, being queer in the traditional sense was a role assigned to me at a young age. I call it a role, though it is also an intrinsic quality. It is an important part of my identity. I differentiate between the two, that is, roles versus identities, as follows. A role is how we present ourselves, how others know us. Jobs, relationships, family position, I'm somebody's daughter, somebody's sister, somebody's wife, and other outside affiliations, church membership, for example. These are roles. To quote the prophet RuPaul, we're all born naked, the rest is just drag. Identity is how we know ourselves. Identity includes, but is not limited to, gender, sexual orientation, and spirituality. Our roles are a result of choices. Some are made by ourselves, some made by others. These choices are not always conscious or even known. In the queer community, we often refer to two different families, our family of origin and our family of choice. In fact, all families are families of choice. Somebody chose to bring each of us into the world one way or another, to raise us and to nurture us well or poorly. Our very existence is the product of a series of choices and roles. Identity is what is intrinsic. To give an example, I am intrinsically musical. I have always sung since before I could talk, and I have a good ear for music. I also have a soundtrack that plays intrusively in my head pretty much constantly. This intrinsic quality has led me to perform various roles that involve music. I sing in a choir in my role as a soprano and sometimes alto or even tenor. I've sung babies to sleep in my role as caretaker and grandmother. Singing is a behavior, but it grows from my identity and it influences my choice of roles. It's not always easy to discern what is a role and what is an identity. I mentioned gender a while ago as an example of an identity. And probably some of you are thinking, yeah, but what about trans people? Well, if you ask them, I think most of them will tell you that their gender isn't chosen. A person who identifies as a woman believes she is a woman and has always been a woman, regardless of the body she was born in. Trans people don't choose to change into something else. They choose to be who they are. But here's a little bit more of my own story to illustrate the difference. When I was a little kid, I really, really wanted to be a boy. One of my siblings convinced me that I could perform the transformation from girl to boy if I cut my eyelashes. Now, I don't know if 4-year-old me had the scissors confiscated or not, as I barely remember the incident. It was this story told about me by my older siblings to embarrass me throughout my childhood and adolescence, and I've never really liked it, but now for the record, I have reclaimed it. Queer pride. Here's the thing. I wanted to be a boy. I never for a moment believed I was a boy. I wanted to be a boy because I saw that boys had everything, all the advantages. They could wear comfortable, non-revealing clothes, or on the other hand, go shirtless. Boys could be smart and outspoken and funny, and everybody praised them for it. Boys and men were the heroes of all the stories I ever read in books or saw on TV. Women and girls were, if present at all, little more than window dressing. I mean, even if they were the title characters in the stories. Both Snow White and Sleeping Beauty actually slept through most of theirs. And they only came to life when kissed by a handsome hero. Girls, it seemed, existed to be rescued. I wanted to be a rescuer. I wanted to be a boy because boys had a better deal than girls. They could grow up to be men who had a much better deal than women. Looking back, I can't understand why every girl didn't want to be a boy. It was a role I would have chosen if I could, but it wasn't, and it isn't my identity. I never thought I was born in the wrong body, just that the way I was treated because of my body was unfair, and I wasn't wrong. I know who I am. I am a woman. I am a woman even though I no longer possess the uterus and ovaries I was born with. They walked away a few years ago. Bodies change with circumstance and time. They inform our identity, but they do not determine them. They do not have to determine our roles. Roles are choices. I am a woman who loves women. Well, in my case, one woman in particular. I have a role as her wife that I chose because I chose her and she chose me. Before I met her, I was playing a different role, one that made me deeply unhappy, that of a straight woman who, though very interested in love and even sex, could not summon much interest at all in men as objects of desire. I didn't understand this as a role. I thought it was my identity, and I just figured I wasn't very good at being an adult human. It took action to shake me out of that role. I had kissed my share of boys and men, but when I kissed her, that was entirely different. That was a truly life-changing moment. That's when everything started to make sense and click into place. I had found my identity. I kind of feel the need right now to point out that I'm not here to make anybody uncomfortable or squeamish, because it's really strange to stand here in church and talk about my sexuality. This stuff is personal, and it's not what I would expect to hear from the pulpit. But now I have to ask, why not? What is sexuality anyway? It's intensely private, but it's public. This ring on my finger, that's a proclamation of my love and commitment to someone, and everyone who sees it assumes that I'm married and assumes that marital love has a sexual component. We, and by we, I mean we humans, every religion, every culture I've ever heard of, have rituals that celebrate that particular kind of love. This is one of the places where sexuality and spirituality intersect. And you don't have to be religious to understand this. If you're a person who cusses, as I happen to be on occasion, you'll recognize almost immediately that the profanity we use to most effect consists of words that come from two different human activities, sex and religion. Just think about it for a second. In combination, they are at their most potent. That's perhaps the best counterexample I can give of the profound connection between the divine and the carnal. For a more positive example, I can tell you that when we're here in this church, I often find myself holding hands with my wife or with my arm around her. I see other couples and families doing the same. There's just a tendency to cuddle. There's a lot of reasons for this. It's about the way we feel for each other. For my wife and me, it's also about being in one of those rare places where it's safe to publicly show our affection. And it's due in no small part to the fact that we come to church to keep in touch with some experience of the divine, and that church brings out in us the urge to turn to each other with affection. I believe love is holy, and our identities are holy. I'd like to conclude with some words that are not mine, but that serve to inspire most of what I've had to say today, and props to my choir buddy Nolan for posting this on Facebook when I needed to see it. This is entitled Things Queer Culture Teaches That Straight Culture Doesn't. I've adapted it from that Facebook post, which is attributed simply to a poster based in Canada, whoever you are. So these are the things. You don't have to get married if you don't want to. You don't have to have kids if you don't want to. It's nobody's job to flirt with you or be flirted with. If you're into someone, do the work and tell them. People will judge you and reject you without knowing you. This isn't your fault. You're not the broken one. Your clothing and hair and other style choices are to make you feel good, first and foremost. I feel good. Signaling to your people is the secondary job of hair and clothes, but don't dress for them. Be you. They'll see it. Anyone who judges you badly for your hair and your clothes is not your people. Physical affection in public is an act of deliberate courage. Family is a matter of choice. Loyalty is a two-way street. Mental health is important and it's hard. Anxiety and depression are natural reactions to the world. Sensitivity isn't weakness, it just means you pay attention. Everybody who's interesting reinvented themselves after their world fell apart, just like you did. Community is a safety net from an unfair world. Let it catch you when you need it. Catch others when you can. Don't live your life for anyone else's happiness. Live for your own and share it. And I would add, be true to your identity. Choose roles that fit. Remember, you are holy. So may it be.
At this time, we will take up an offering for the good work of this church. As this is the first Sunday we are holding services this month, this first Sunday collection will be given to the Lynn County Mental Health Access Center. This new center was developed in cooperation between Lynn County law enforcement, area hospitals, and local mental health partners. The center will provide 24-hour crisis care for those experiencing a mental health or substance abuse disorder. The center was designed to prevent unnecessary hospitalization and arrests. It will provide evaluations, suicide screening, detoxification, and care coordination and referrals. There are a few ways to give. You can send us a check. You can go online to our website at www.peoplesuu.org and click the Donate Now tab, or you can use your smartphone to download the Give Plus app. Search for People's Church and you will be guided through the process. Now, if you could join us, the choir, for singing For Our Lives.
We are a gentle, angry people, and we are singing, singing for our lives. We
Now, let us enter into a spirit of prayer and meditation. Take a moment to center yourself, to calm your mind and body. And let's just sit for a moment in silence. These words are from the Reverend Sarah Eileen Lawal. Spirit of life and love, in the silence, in the stillness, we hear the call of our own heart, its tender dreams, its sorrows, and its triumphs. In the silence, in the stillness, we hear whispers of days gone by, of dreams still becoming. The promise of the future we celebrate together. Our individual journeys and dreams, and our collective ones. Knowing the journey is so much richer with others to share in it. In the name of all that is holy, we pray. Amen. At this time, Paulette and I will light 3 candles. We light one to remember all the sorrows and hardships we have experienced together in this long year of pandemic, natural disaster, and isolation. We light the second to recognize the hopes and joys that have survived and still thrive within us. Finally, we light a candle in memory of Julie Dowell, a longtime member of the choir and friend to many who are present here today, who passed away this week. We ask that you light your own candle at home in honor of whatever joys and sorrows you hold. Now we're going to sing our final hymn with the help of the choir. Everything Possible from the dreaded Teal hymnal. Come on up.
We cleared off the table, leftover saved for
As Paulette extinguishes the chalice, please join me in reading the words on your screen. We extinguish this chalice flame, but not the light of truth, the warmth of community, or the fire of commitment. These we carry in our hearts until we are together again.
Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. Be the change you want to see in the world. And change will come to you. Be the hope you want to see in the world. Be the hope you want to see in the world. Be the hope you want to see in the world, and change will come to you. Be the song you want to sing in the world. Be the song you want to sing in the world. Be the song you want to sing in the world, and change will come to you. Be the light you want to shine in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world. Be the light you want to shine in the world, and change will come to you.
Our benediction is from Eric Williams. Blessed is the path on which you travel. Blessed is the body that carries you upon it. Blessed is your heart that has heard the call. Blessed is your mind that discerns the way. Blessed is the gift that you will receive by going. Truly blessed is the gift that you will become on the journey. May you go forth in peace.